Hello, this is Amy with Mo Mommy Scrapping, and I am here to show you how I use my Traveler's Notebook. I have a few Traveler's Notebooks, only one. This one is currently being actually used though. I won it at the Fall Retreat by Heather's Crafty Life, and I finally decided to use it to record my layouts for each month. I am part of Catherine Pooler's Club Cambo stamp subscription, where you get a stamp and stencil every month, and so I'm using her Hello June stamps. I am using them with my Lawn Fawn inks, and I just want to set up and show you what I do for the month. I start off every month with a title page, and I flipped, you could see a moment ago I flipped and did some of them, and for June the title is Hello June, and I am using Carrot and Sunflower inks from Lawn Fawn. I kind of do a little bit of a gradient design with it, and that will get stamped into the top left corner. You'll see a tab that I have there. I bought those from Michael's a couple years ago, and they've been sitting in my drawer, and so I finally decided to use them with this, which has been very nice. So each month, as I add the month into my notebook, I just go ahead and add a new tab on. The Catherine Pooler stamp sets are amazing. They're very nice quality, and they clean very well, except with the red ink, which it's red ink. It's going to stain if it's a really nice stamp. So I'm okay with that. And I use a lot of red this month. So underneath the monthly title, I'm going back and checking to make sure things line up. Her bullets fit perfectly between the dot grid pattern on here. So there's strawberries this month. This month's kind of a strawberry theme. And so I'm going to go ahead and just go down the page and stamp in these strawberry bullets. So every time I add in and complete a layout, I just write it down here. And I only need to stamp the last, I think it's 3 for this. I'm cleaning off the extra ink. You can already see that the red is stained on there, and that's okay. The red doesn't pick up if I do another color. So I'll go ahead and do that, and then I'm going to stamp the same bullet list on the other side, because my goal, some months I don't do a lot. I'm looking back through my Traveler's Notebook right now in front of me, and like March I only used one side, but I have found that if I put both sides in there, I will at least get enough layouts done to where I go over onto the other side. And you can see Maze right there. So apparently at this point I'm deciding I'm not going to stamp the other bullets, but I do eventually do that. I'm pulling the strawberry stamps off. She has the strawberries and the leaves, like the little caps to the strawberries. She also has a flower and a separate leaf, so everything's separate so you can easily do the colors. And I'm kind of like pulling what I want to do. On my little tiny round acrylic block, I put this flowers on both sides because she has 2 different sizes. Here's this nice green zigzag, which I like to use at the top and bottom of the right hand page, kind of to pull everything in. I don't know, I like the symmetry of it. I tend to do that most months, it looks like. Well, no, I tend to do something at the top and bottom most months. It's not always that something like that zigzag. The zigzag was very thin, so it was easy to fit in at the bottom. So at the bottom corner I will be putting in a calendar. The green ink I'm using is Lawn Fawn's Freshly Cut Grass. And I'm going ahead and adding the strawberry tops. And on the small square acrylic block, I have put both sizes of the caps for the strawberries. And that way I'm able just to kind of insert stuff in easily. There's my hair. Sorry about that. I was trying to line things up. Obviously did not do that very well. Should have been up a little bit higher. And the small one there is a little better. I do eventually stamp them on the left side as well, And when I stamp them on the left side, they turn out a little bit better. I'm trying to figure out which one is the small one and which one's the big one. So this is, I'm putting another small one in. And I've taken off the larger leaf cap and larger strawberry design because it was hard to see, especially with the red. I couldn't line up things quite as well as I wanted to. The green does not stain. Now this is one of the stencils. This particular stencil was the January stencil. And I am looking up the calendar for the month of June. So this stencil, I'm going to grab it real quick so I can look at it as I talk to you. This stencil has been my most used stencil. It is called Calendar and Boxes stencil. And I use the calendar grid that's in the bottom center of the stencil the most. So every month I put in a small calendar. And that calendar, every time I upload something to YouTube, I color in the date that I've uploaded it. So for instance, I'm looking, and today, as I am saying this, I realize I uploaded a video this morning. So I'm going to go ahead and color in the number. And then it's a very quick way for me to look back and see how often I'm uploading. So I'm able to flip through, like the month of April, I apparently uploaded to YouTube twice that I colored in. Oh, there's one more that I did that I never colored in. So I'm going to go ahead and pull my marker and color that in as well. So all I do is trace each box for the calendar, and then I just go in and put the dates in there. All right, so now that all of my dates are in there, I'm checking on how I titled each calendar, and I just put YouTube uploads above the calendar, and then I stamp the small month that comes in the stamp set. So you get like a large title, in this case it's Hello June with all the little swirls, but then you just get the word June. Now some of the prior months, they were just like abbreviations for the month. And since now, you know, like April, May, June, it's short words. You get the whole word spelled out. So I'm again just using the freshly cut grass. I want to bring in some more of that green. And a quick swipe with my stamp chamois to clean up the stamp. Then I decide it needs something else, and I decide to put little red flowers. I do not know why I chose red. Strawberry flowers are not red. Strawberry flowers are white. And you'll see what I try to do with that in a moment in this Traveler's Notebook. But I could go back and put something on that stamp. Like, I must clean it off. I could go back and stamp with that small flower in a different color, and the red wouldn't come through. So the stamp also comes with a larger strawberry flower, and then I'm trying to figure out where I could place in. Didn't figure that out, so instead I pulled out the words, and these will go up at the top on the right between the two between the two strawberries. So I'm using my black licorice ink, I think. Yeah, I just couldn't get it out, so I pulled the gray out first. I was surprised that as long as this phrase is, that it actually fit on my round stamp block. And I got it slightly crooked, but I don't mind. It overlaps. It says, drink in the sunshine, bloom where you're planted, and savor life's sweetness. Which is a very good sentiment for me for summer. I'm a teacher, so I'm now on summer vacation, and it's quite nice to be on summer vacation. clean some of the ink that I always inevitably get onto my hand. Clean that off with my stamp chamois also. And then I need another something over there on the bottom right, or excuse me, bottom left of June. So another strawberry, this time the larger one, will go there. And these stamps, I cannot get over just the awesome quality. So this strawberry stamp has little tiny pock marks in it that are supposed to be the strawberry seeds. And other times when I have things with the little tiny marks like that, I always manage to get stamps that that don't stamp so well, and you never really see those little dots. With these Catherine Pooler stamps, you see the tiny little dots. The flowers have the little tiny dots in the middle for like where the pollen is, and those you can see really well. For the strawberry flowers, and strawberry flowers are white with yellow centers, if I'm not mistaken, if I recall correctly. I'm using the Sunflower Stamp ink, and I'm trying to be very light with it. So I inked more towards the outside edges of the flower, and so the center is lighter. If I'd been smart, I would have just chosen a different color yellow, like the butter yellow or the lemonade would have worked well with that too. But I can't do white, you're not gonna be able to see it. And then I'm doing the exact same thing, continuing to check to make sure I'm being a light hand. I am a very heavy-handed stamper, which is why I don't use the Catherine Pooler inks for the most part. I only own one. I love the ink, but I am a messy stamper, and so anytime I've used the Catherine Pooler inks, I get them everywhere, all over the stamp, all over the stamp block, all over me. It's a mess. It's because she uses the foam pad, which is wonderful if you're able to use it. Unfortunately, it's just not a technique I have been able to pick up quite easily. So I am almost done with this Traveler's Notebook. I decide that under the phrase at the top, it needs something. It just feels empty, having something above it, but not below it. So I am pulling out these dots. It's a mix, alternates of a big dot and a little dot. And I'm doing something similar to what I did with the word June. I'm using the carrot ink in the center of it, and then I am on the ends using the sunflower yellow. So you get kind of that gradient, which will mimic what I have with the Hello June. So you get that at the top now of both sides. And neither the yellow nor the orange stain, so it's very nice to have the stamps actually look clean while they're on the sheet. So I think if I do another one of these videos, I'm going to leave out the part where I put everything back on the acetate sheet, because really that's not super fun, exciting video, although you can see I'm actually, getting things done. There are still quite a few stamps on here that I didn't use. There's a beautiful scallop border with hearts. That didn't get used. I didn't use the little tiny tag. I didn't use the square dots, which, if I'm not mistaken, those square dots fit in one of the stencil squares. Yeah, they do. So you could add those in the background. It's got a nice circular frame. There's a little tiny circle. There's a small heart. Didn't use any of that. Here's where I finally go ahead and add 2 more of the bullet lists. So that is my Traveler's Notebook for the month of June. If you like this video, leave a comment and let me know. And I hope you guys all have a lovely day. Bye.